Suctioning your baby. When I first heard the word suction, I had no idea what it meant. I remember asking questions like, is it going to hurt my baby? What if I forget to do it? Is it going to be a scary thing to do? In the first few days after we got the trach, I remember going through training of a suction catheter. It was an inline suction catheter, which means it was connected to the ventilator and Paige was on the ventilator 24/7. I remember the first time I went one too deep. So I went to 13 instead of 12 with the inline suction. I freaked out. I thought I had injured her. I thought blood would come out. I didn't really know what I was looking at. It wasn't until a respiratory therapist came over and showed me where the suction catheter goes in the trach. Then I understood. I realized the amount of room between the end of the trach, the wall of the trachea, and then where the suction catheter goes. All of those things are super, super helpful. In the home world, I didn't understand what suctioning would look like. I remember reading the booklet and it said minimum 3 times a day. And I was sitting here thinking, how are we going to do a medical procedure 3 times a day? Now, as I look back, I laugh at myself a little bit because suctioning Paige is just like changing her diaper. Suctioning Paige has become such a part of our life that I wouldn't know what to do without the suction machine. Yes, it's gross, but no, it doesn't hurt my baby. It's not a hassle for us. You get used to it. You learn how to do it. You know when you can go a little deeper to get some of that mucus out. You know when you shouldn't. You know when you just need to put the catheter through once, or you need to do the catheter 3 times. In this video, I want to show you the different types of suction catheters, when to use which one, how to suction, and what happens when you're suctioning. Some of these videos I'm going to try to illustrate. Some videos I'm just going to video myself suctioning Paige just in a normal life environment. You're going to see her hands. It's not going to be the best video, but that's what it will most likely be in your home. Make sure your hands are clean whenever you suction or use gloves. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this is helpful. We have a variety of suction catheters right here. All of their purposes are the same. The purpose is to suck mucus out of the trach. They all look different. Which ones of these are the same and which are different? First thing you're going to notice is the different names. Typically, this first thing is the brand. This is the brand. This is the series in the brand. So typically, it's going to be this second line. Suction system, closed suction system, sleeved suction catheter, graduated suction catheter tray with chimney valve, suction catheter 10 French mini tray, suction catheter 8 French mini tray. And what is the difference between a closed suction system and just a plain suction catheter? The way you open these is there's, it's hard to get used to it. But once you get used to it, you find it with your eyes closed. This one has a lot of gear. So for instance, suction depth stickers. So if your child is around a lot of different people who are suctioning them, you might want to use this in case they forget. However, I highly recommend to have people in your home that are taking care of your child to memorize their suction depth and not use this. This is like for a hospital setting, right? When you have different people coming in. This is also how often you can change it. Right? So again, this is made typically for a hospital, but you could use it in home if you want. Alert! Read instructions. Which, this is your instruction video. This looks very different from this small one. This one just says suction catheter tray. There's no tray, by the way. I always think that's funny when it says it has a tray, but it doesn't have a tray. So like, for instance, this is like a little tray. See that? This is not a tray. What's the difference between this and this? You feel like you're in a toddler animation show, don't you? This has a sleeve around it. It also has this big white thing there. It also has a lid, and it has a cap, and it has these blue things. Basically, everything about this is different than this. The ventilator is the difference. This is a suction catheter you use while your child is connected to a ventilator, because this little V here, one connects to the vent, the other connects to the suction. This also is reusable, so the sleeve always helps with germs, things like that. So you do not have to throw away this after every single use. Typically, it's like after a day's worth of suctioning, you can throw this out. This one is if your child is off the vent. So if you see a suction catheter like this, they can breathe on their own. So you can use this, okay? So one of the differences between this one and this one is this big part right here adds about 3 centimeters. So instead of suction depth being 9, for instance, for my daughter, your suction depth is now 12. So you have to take the suction depth and add 3. Another thing to remark about this is typically where the sizing stops. So if I need to go to 12, you're going to put the 12 in this little box here. You're not going to put it at the very bottom, because again, the trach is connected to here, so you won't even be able to see the line. The trach is here. The suction depth includes this part, right? So if you go here, you are now going 12 instead of 9. We want to go 9. See that? See how it adds about 3 right there? So just remember, if you're using this one, add 3. If you're using this one, regular. So this is an inline. So we call it inline because it's in line with the vent. This I call sterile, which just means it's like one use. You'll hear people say that. Open, closed. This is open, that's closed. You've got this one. I know, it's just all fancy smancy. Basically, this is if your child has a lot of irritation in the trach or whatever. It's just rubber instead of clear, and sometimes this gets a lot more mucus out than this one. So this is thicker than the smaller one. That is literally the only difference. And 8 French, 10 French, 12 French, that is the thickness. So this, for instance, is 10 French. So this is thicker around than this one, 8 French. This one, all the difference is it comes with a little tray. So when you open it, you have little gloves, and you have the sterile one right there. Sleeved. So we now think, oh, this is the inline. But wait, there's no closed sleeve suction catheter kit. This is basically this. I know, all this paper, but with a sleeve around it. The purpose for this is so that you can use it more than one time. Sterile, not really sterile because you're using it several times. Sleeve, no sleeve. If it doesn't say sleeved, it is this. If it says closed, it's this. I hope that helps. Today, I wanted to talk to you about suctioning your child with a trach. Or if you see somebody like me suctioning, what on earth is happening? As you know, Paige has a tube in her throat. You have to suction around the tube that's in her trachea, okay? What happens is, this is a trach, and each child with a trach has a different size. So what you do is you put a suction depth, so hers is 9, through here, tip, see that? That's 10. This is 9. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's gonna be loud for a second. So pretend that's her trachea, and you suction. And that's what it sounds like. And you pull it out, and it's all done. So Paige needs suction. I have the Devil Bliss, however you say it, home care suction unit. So it's already set up, it's in the case, we keep it downstairs all the time. We have the sleeved suction catheter on it right now. We use about one of these every day. I'm going to turn it on by hitting this power button. Her length is 9. right there. I'm going to take her HME off. Put your thumb right there. Right there. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. And she's clear. So today I'm going to show you how to suction via the vent through the inline suction catheter. So remember, the difference between these catheters and the sterile catheters are this is built to suction while the patient is on the ventilator, while the sterile suction catheters can be used when the patient is off the ventilator. Another important fact about this is that the suction depth is going to be longer because of this section right here. This adds about 3 centimeters, the space right here, to the overall suction depth. For instance, Paige is suction depth 9, but because we're using the inline suction, we're going to add 3. You're going to make sure the number appears in this little window right here. Paige is connected to the ventilator, and what I do first is I find the 12. So as you can see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have the color markings because that's easier to see when you're looking through all of this plastic. Turn on the suction. You attach your suction to the inline right here. You hear the suction change volume because it's now exerting pressure to here. And then you're going to find the green marking, which is 12, in that box, right there. And you're going to hold back. Hold this. Push this and pull. Like that. It's going to sound different than the under suction catheter. You're going to do it again. So you're going to go all the way to the 12 because again, 9 plus 3. Push. And you hear a little bit of gunk. Sometimes you can look right here. This is where the snot comes through and you can see if anything is coming out. We're going to do it one more time. And you see the gunk comes through right there. And we are done. Now, a couple things about the inline suction catheter is you don't hear as much gunk coming out, so you rely mainly on looking at this. Another thing is if you're in the hospital, it is not going to be loud. So at home, it sounds like that. But in the hospital, it's not going to sound like anything. I hope this helps.
Don't be ashamed to be Dr. Mom.